Final segment of the show for today. The topic is Nashville's public libraries, and we're talking to Miss DNicely, who is the director of the Nashville Public Library System. And of course, Miss Nicely, before we head our commercial break, we promised that we would give you an opportunity to talk about that new library that all of Nashville, as a matter of fact, all of Davidson County, has been talking about over the last several months. Let's talk about that. Okay.
And really, I'm happy to talk about it. I feel like the opening of the main library, which happens on June the 9th at 10 o'clock, is a culmination of what you and I have been talking about. We've built branches, we've improved branches, we've purchased new materials and computers, and kind of the culmination and the wrap-up of this massive effort that we've been working on since 1997 is the opening of this wonderful new library downtown. I can't wait for people to see it. It's beautiful, it's spacious, it has a large children's area, it has many meeting rooms. We'll concentrate our reference staff there, so there'll be lots of professional people to help you find the information you need. We have a computer classroom there for the public, just like we were talking about previously. This is the library that will hold our special historical collection, the history of Nashville and Middle Tennessee. And besides everything else, it's a beautiful building, and I think people will be delighted and proud. I mean, this is Nashville's public library. It belongs to the people who live here. It was supported with tax dollars, and I hope people will feel really good that this library is their library in their city.
Now, I understand it's sort of designed to complement the state legislature, the state capitol. Why don't you speak to that? How did that conception develop?
You know, when finally that site was settled upon, and we had a competition to see which architect should build this building, and Robert A.M. Stern out of New York looked up the street at that Capitol building and said, "My, that is a beautiful building." And so he designed the library to honor that building. And so if you stand on Capitol Boulevard and you look right or you look left, these buildings are kind of sympathetic to one another, or this library honors that Capitol building. It's very classical and very beautiful. And so yes, that was kind of the intent, that we're very responsive to the War Memorial and to all the classical buildings that are in that area.
And quite a bit of effort went into really bringing that project online, I understand.
Yes, yes. And I have to admit, we're opening June the 9th, and we are very, very busy getting ready. But we'll be ready, and we want to welcome the whole city, June the 9th, 10 o'clock. There'll be free parking in the garage. You know, there's a garage attached to it.
So you no longer have the parking problem with this facility.
So I hope the whole city will come and help us open up and celebrate this library.
Well, what about the book capacity when you talk about libraries?
Good question. You're asking me lots of good questions. This particular library could hold 1 million volumes. And when we open, right now we have downtown, we have 250,000 volumes. We'll double that when we open, so we'll have 500,000 items, but now we'll have another 500,000 to grow, because this library is we're building this library for the next 100 years, and so that's what we're trying to do.
So you've got space
to
you
grow.
Will have space for approximately 500,000 books after you after you bring everything together in that library.
And that's good planning, because we want to be sure to leave ourselves space to grow in the future.
And of course that will last for the next, well, you know, books are published, but if you just have 1 or 2 books of various authors in there, you've got a lot of space in there. And not only is that space for books, but that's for all. What about your media development area?
Yes, and we'll have a whole section with audio books and CDs, a lot of music. We're going to have DVDs for the first time. We'll have tapes. We'll have all kinds of media. And so again, people who love to listen to books on tape, for example, they ought to come on down and have a look. But we also have those kinds of collections in all the different branches as well. So you can go at other places in Davidson County and still check out various kinds of media.
And everything can be worked still through the main library, but you also can
and it's all tied together by the computer. And one more thing is, when you're at home and you see, let's say you're online and you're looking and you see a particular tape that you want, or a particular book, okay? Even no matter where it is in Davidson County, you can say, I think I'd like to check this book out. You can, online yourself, you can have that book moved from wherever it is to your local library, and then you can get an email that'll say, "Sir, your book is ready, and then you say, oh, okay, and you go down and get it.
All you have to do is go down and get it.
Yeah, and you can do that all yourself online.
So the library, in the real sense, is online.
Yes, sir.
And so computers not only play a very, very important part, but the computer will allow you to bring more people and introduce your books to more people.
Right.
So I think that that's good planning. That's excellent planning, as a matter of fact. And that's something that I never thought of.
In fact, I'll just give you a number. When we started out, we have library trucks that drive the books from branch to branch all day long. And a couple of years ago, we were moving about 7,000 books a day. We're now moving over 10,000 books a day from branch to branch, because everybody's online saying, let's check this book out here, let's check this tape out there. So it's great.
Very good. And of course, Ms. Nicely, let me, over the last 40 seconds that we have here, thank you for coming by and bringing us that excellent information about Nashville's public libraries, because I know that I'm familiar with the system, but many of the things that you talked about, and especially computer technology in the library, I think many of us sort of assume that since we are moving into this digital world, that there will no longer be a need for books, but the National Public Library has made space for 500,000 of them, so evidently the need will still be there.
That's right.
And we appreciate you coming by and giving us that information. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Coomments. Thank you and good morning.